What if the Texas dream just hit a wall? For years, these suburbs were unstoppable. Big new homes, low taxes, booming jobs. Californians fled here. Prices exploded. Texas was where the American dream still worked. But in 2025, that story is violently flipping. Home values are crashing in suburbs that were supposed to be bulletproof. Insurance premiums have tripled. Property taxes are crushing families. And inventory has doubled, with for sale signs multiplying on streets that used to sell out in days. Over 40% of Texas suburbs have seen price declines since mid-2024. Developers built for demand that never came. Buyers are waiting. Investors are fleeing. So which suburbs are collapsing the hardest? And why is this only the beginning? Number 10. Leander was the poster child of Texas's pandemic boom. Between 2020 and 2023, home prices exploded more than 60%, fueled by tech workers priced out of Austin and investors convinced Central Texas would never slow down. New subdivisions sprawled across ranch land. Schools filled. For a moment, Leander felt unstoppable. But in 2025, that story has violently flipped. Inventory has more than doubled since last spring. Median prices are falling, down nearly 13% year over year, erasing years of gains in months. Homes sit longer on the market now, averaging 59 days instead of the instant offers sellers used to expect. New home builders are dangling massive incentives. Free appliances, rate buy-downs, even gift cards, just to move unsold units. The incentives aren't working. Behind the price cuts is a deeper squeeze. Property taxes in Williamson County have soared. HOA fees are eating into budgets. Insurance premiums have surged after back-to-back hailstorms swept through the region. Families who bought at the top of the market are now watching their home values sink while their monthly payments rise. Some are quietly listing at losses, hoping to escape before conditions worsen. The cranes that once dotted the horizon have gone still. Retail centers are half filled. The hum of construction has quieted to an uneasy calm. For a suburb that promised the Texas dream, affordable space, growth, opportunity, Leander's reversal has been sharp and sobering. What once felt like momentum now feels like retreat. Number 9. Frisco. For nearly 2 decades, Frisco defined suburban success. The crown jewel of North Texas. Master planned communities, corporate relocations, sports complexes. It was the kind of place people bragged about moving to, a symbol of having made it. But by 2025, the shine has dulled. Home prices have dropped nearly 11% from their late 2022 peak. Listings have tripled compared to just a year ago. The supply of multi-million-dollar homes now far outpaces buyers willing or able to pay for them. Days on market are ticking higher. Price reductions are common, and even in this once bulletproof suburb, the for sale signs are multiplying. What happened? Property taxes are punishingly high, some of the steepest in Texas. Insurance premiums have soared after repeated hail, and windstorm damage claims drove up costs across Collin and Denton counties. For many families, the math just doesn't work anymore. Monthly costs that felt manageable in 2021 now push budgets past the breaking point. The investor rush that once poured in from California and Arizona has reversed. Many flippers who counted on quick profits are now sitting on vacant, unsold homes, their equity erased by higher financing costs. Even local buyers are hesitating, waiting for prices to drop further, wondering if the worst is still ahead. The luxury market is cracking first, but affordability issues are creeping down the ladder. Entry-level buyers who once stretched to afford Frisco are now looking elsewhere. McKinney, Salina, even farther north where the same dream costs half as much. For the first time in years, even this powerhouse suburb is learning that growth, no matter how golden, is never guaranteed. Number 8. Conroe was Houston's northern escape. The place you moved when you wanted space without the city squeeze. Land was cheap, commutes were manageable, and for years, demand seemed endless. Developers built neighborhoods as fast as they could clear the trees. For a while, Conroe was thriving, but in 2025, the boom has turned to bust. Inventory has exploded, up 95% year over year, while sales have fallen by a third. Builders are slashing prices by $30,000 or more, offering every incentive imaginable just to clear backlogs. Free upgrades, rate buy-downs, closing cost credits. It's not working. The neighborhoods of Wood Forest and Grand Central Park now show visible distress. Unkempt lawns, stalled construction sites, and price-reduced signs at every corner. Flood insurance has doubled following consecutive storm seasons and updated FEMA flood maps. Standard homeowners policies are spiking too. Premiums now average over $4,300 annually, among the highest in Texas. Property tax reassessments have piled on thousands more each year. For buyers, the numbers no longer add up. Remote workers who once flocked to Conroe for bigger homes are being called back to offices in Houston. The 45-minute commute that felt tolerable in 2021 now feels punishing with gas prices and toll costs climbing. Young families who bought with tight budgets are feeling the strain. Higher insurance, higher taxes, higher everything. While home values stagnate or fall, the market now shows nearly 6 months of inventory. Sellers cling to yesterday's prices, but buyers aren't biting. Builders keep building because stopping would sink them financially. Conroe's growth engine, cheap land and endless demand, has seized up, and for the first time in decades, no one's sure when it will start again. Number 7. New Braunfels. New Braunfels used to be Texas's perfect middle ground. Not quite Austin, not quite San Antonio. Somewhere in between, offering the best of both. Historic charm, river access, affordable homes. Families moved here for space and a slower pace without sacrificing proximity to jobs. For years, it worked beautifully, but in 2025, that dream has soured. Inventory has more than doubled. Median home prices have fallen 14% since 2023, one of the sharpest drops in Texas. Homes that once sparked bidding wars now sit for months without offers, averaging 94 days on the market. Sellers are cutting prices repeatedly, hoping to attract buyers who simply aren't there. The collapse isn't just about demand, it's about cost. Property taxes are climbing year after year, forcing reassessments that add thousands to annual bills. Insurance rates are punishing after flood remapping expanded high-risk zones along the Guadalupe and Comal rivers. Policies that cost $1,800 3 years ago now run $3,500 or more. For families on fixed or modest incomes, the squeeze is unbearable. Commuting costs are eating into disposable income too. The daily drive to Austin or San Antonio, once manageable, now feels like a financial drain. Hybrid workers who moved here during the pandemic for flexibility are being called back to offices. They're leaving behind empty driveways and homes they can't sell for what they paid. Local realtors describe the market as frozen. Sellers cling to yesterday's prices. Buyers wait for tomorrow's deals. Builders keep building because stopping would mean financial ruin. New construction neighborhoods sit partially finished, with rows of homes lacking buyers. The optimism that once defined New Braunfels has been replaced by caution and doubt. If you're finding this breakdown valuable, hit that subscribe button and smash the like. We're tracking these markets closely, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Number 6. Mansfield. Mansfield struck a delicate balance for years. Big city convenience with small town charm. Positioned between Dallas and Fort Worth, it offered reasonable commutes, good schools, and neighborhoods that felt safe and family friendly. For a while, it was the sweet spot everyone wanted, but in 2025, that balance has fractured. Active listings are up 82% year over year. Pending sales have plunged. Homes sit longer on the market, averaging 80 days, and price reductions are the new normal. Mortgage payments that cost $2,200 in 2021 now top $3,800 once you factor in taxes, insurance, and HOA fees. The city's property values have climbed faster than wages, and for many residents, the affordability that drew them here has vanished entirely. Developers who couldn't build fast enough are now staring down streets of empty, unsold homes. Some subdivisions look occupied, but entire blocks remain dark at night. No lights, no laughter, just silence and for sale signs. The construction boom that was supposed to bring prosperity has created saturation instead. Insurance premiums have spiked following severe weather events. Tornadoes, hail, windstorms that swept through Tarrant County. Combined with rising taxes and maintenance costs, monthly housing expenses have become unsustainable for middle-class buyers who once saw Mansfield as their ticket in. Small businesses that thrived on new residents are now struggling. For rent signs are multiplying in shopping centers. Restaurants are closing quietly. The economic ripple effect of a frozen housing market is spreading. Contractors, agents, retailers, everyone feels it. First-time buyers who stretch their budgets to afford Mansfield are now trapped. Values have dropped, but their mortgages haven't. Selling means taking a loss. Staying means grinding through payments that eat up half their income. Mansfield's promise was simple: opportunity without compromise. But when affordability collapses and inventory explodes, even the best location can't save a market built on shaky ground. Number 5. Pflugerville was Austin's spillover success story. When Austin proper became too expensive, people moved northeast to Pflugerville, a suburb with decent schools, newer homes, and a tech-friendly vibe. For years, it absorbed Austin's growth like a sponge. The future looked bright, but in 2025, the momentum has stopped cold. Home prices have fallen 12% since 2024. Inventory has nearly doubled. Nearly half of all active listings have seen multiple price reductions, some dropping $40,000, $50,000, even more. Days on market have doubled, and buyer demand has dropped to its lowest point in a decade. Homes under $600,000 still move at a healthy pace, but anything above that, listings languish for months, with absorption rates plummeting to 14% or lower. What went wrong? Traffic congestion has worsened dramatically. The highways connecting Pflugerville to Austin are now parking lots during rush hour. Commute times that used to take 25 minutes now stretch to 45 or more. For workers called back to downtown offices, the grind is exhausting and expensive. Property taxes have surged as Travis and Williamson counties reassess values upward, even while market prices fall. Insurance costs, especially for developments built on former farmland prone to flooding, are punishing. Monthly costs have spiraled beyond control. Remote workers who once fueled Pflugerville's boom are quietly leaving. Some are drawn back to corporate offices, others are fleeing Texas entirely. Entire blocks of identical new builds now stand half empty, a visible testament that unchecked growth can turn opportunity into oversupply. Infrastructure hasn't kept pace. Schools are overcrowded, road projects remain unfinished. The quality of life pitch that sold Pflugerville to thousands now feels hollow, congested, expensive, and stalled. Investors facing negative cash flow are walking away, letting foreclosures pile up quietly. Pflugerville represents a hard truth. Growth without infrastructure and affordability without sustainability eventually collapses under its own weight, and when the collapse comes, it comes fast. Number 4. Katy built its reputation on master-planned perfection. Manicured lawns, excellent schools, family-friendly neighborhoods, all wrapped in the promise of suburban safety and stability. For years, Houston families saw Katy as the gold standard. Move here, and you'd made it. The American dream, Texas-sized. But in 2025, that perfection is cracking. While median prices show modest appreciation on paper, up just 1.2% year over year, the reality beneath the surface is far darker. Katy leads Harris County in foreclosure filings, which are up 28% compared to last year. That's not a typo. Foreclosures. In one of Texas's most sought-after suburbs, the average new build mortgage payment has exploded from $2,000 in 2021 to $3,400 in 2025. Insurance premiums are punishing, averaging nearly $6,000 annually, among the highest in the state. Property taxes keep climbing as the county reassesses values upward. Add in HOA fees that can run $200 to $500 a month, and the math becomes brutal. Inventory levels have surged 43% compared to last year. Builders are slashing prices to clear unsold units. Investors who once poured money into Katy rental properties are quietly backing out. Rental demand is shrinking as tenants downsize or leave entirely. Behind the glossy developer advertisements and pristine neighborhood entrances, the reality is stark. Families who moved to Katy for affordability have discovered it's anything but. Monthly costs that felt manageable 3 years ago now consume half a household's income. Some are listing homes they can't afford to keep. Others are walking away, letting the bank take the keys. Parents who thought they'd found stability are now calculating whether staying is worth the financial strain. Teachers, nurses, first responders, the people who make communities function, are being priced out. The social fabric that made Katy special is fraying. Katy's collapse is quieter than others. No dramatic price crashes, just a slow, grinding erosion of affordability that leaves families trapped between staying and surviving. Number 3. Georgetown was the retirement dream, and the young family escape rolled into one. Historic charm, hill country views, close enough to Austin for work, far enough for peace. Retirees flocked here for walkable downtown streets and festivals. Young families came for space and good schools. For a while, it felt like everyone won, but in 2025, the dream has turned into a nightmare. Inventory has nearly doubled since the beginning beginning of the year, climbing from 827 active listings in January to over 2,300 by summer. That's a 65% increase in 6 months. The median sold price has fallen from $487,900 in 2022 to $455,000 in 2025, representing a 10% year-over-year decline. Homes sit on the market for an average of 79 days, and most don't sell without cuts. Here's the most telling statistic: 61.6% of active listings have price reductions. Not a handful, not a few desperate sellers. More than 6 out of every 10 homes for sale. The average price drop totals $36,268. The median reduction is $25,000. That's not a market correction. That's a collapse in slow motion. Monthly housing costs now exceed $3,600 for a median-priced home. To afford that within standard guidelines, you'd need a household income of approximately $163,000. But median household income in Georgetown sits closer to $85,000. The gap is unsustainable, and buyers know it. Property taxes in Williamson County have soared, some of the fastest growing in Texas. Insurance premiums have spiked after hailstorms and severe weather events. HOA fees in newer developments eat into budgets. Maintenance costs keep climbing. Even retirees on fixed incomes, long a key demographic driving Georgetown's boom, are feeling the strain. The town they chose for affordability and charm now feels like a financial trap. Developers overbuilt. Streets of new homes on Georgetown's outskirts sit partially occupied with rows of for sale signs flapping in the wind. Entire subdivisions feel half finished. Model homes open, but no buyers coming through. Marketing has shifted from aspirational to desperate. Free upgrades, rate buy-downs, closing cost credits. Still, inventory piles up. The emotional weight is visible. Retirees who downsized to Georgetown from expensive metros are now listing homes that once symbolized freedom and relaxation. Young families who stretched budgets to afford the suburb are realizing they can't keep up with rising costs. Some are moving to cheaper towns farther out. Others are leaving Texas entirely. Georgetown's charm hasn't disappeared. The downtown is still beautiful. The festivals still draw crowds, but the financial foundation has cracked. When affordability vanishes and inventory explodes, even the most desirable locations can't escape gravity. Number 2, McKinney. McKinney was crowned the #1 real estate market in the country by WalletHub just months ago. The accolades poured in. Best schools, best quality of life, best housing market. On paper, it looked perfect. But beneath the rankings and headlines, a very different story was unfolding. In 2025, McKinney is collapsing under the weight of its own success. Active listings have surged 90% year over year. Homes that once sold in days now sit for weeks, then months. Price reductions are everywhere. Aggressive cuts by sellers desperate to attract buyers who aren't coming. The suburb's rapid expansion, nearly 38% of homes built since 2010, has created catastrophic oversupply. Builders race to meet demand that turned out to be temporary. Property taxes in Collin County are among the highest in Texas. Annual bills that once felt manageable are now crushing. Insurance premiums have climbed following severe weather events, tornadoes, hailstorms that ripped through North Texas. Policies that cost $2,500 3 years ago now run $4,500 or more. For buyers trying to calculate affordability, the numbers don't work. The price-to-income ratio in McKinney sits at 4.7, well above sustainable levels. That means homes cost nearly 5 times what the average household earns annually. Historically, anything above 3.5 signals overvaluation and risk. McKinney blew past that threshold years ago, and now the correction is here. Many homeowners who bought during the pandemic with adjustable rate mortgages or low down payments are facing payment shock as rates adjust upward. Monthly costs that started at $2,400 are now $3,800 or higher. Some are listing at losses just to escape. Others are holding on, hoping the market will recover. It won't. Not anytime soon. Developers are sitting on massive unsold inventory. Streets of finished homes stand empty, waiting for buyers who never arrive. Investors who poured money into McKinney rentals are confronting rising vacancies as tenants flee to cheaper suburbs or leave Texas entirely. Landlords who once enjoyed positive cash flow are now subsidizing losses month after month. The irony is brutal. McKinney was declared the best housing market in America at the exact moment it started collapsing. The rankings measured past performance performance. Job growth, population increases, price appreciation. But they missed the oversupply, the affordability crisis, and the demand cliff that was already forming. Retail developments planned during the boom are now half empty. Restaurants close quietly. Construction sites sit abandoned. The optimism that defined McKinney just a few years ago has evaporated, replaced by uncertainty and fear. For a suburb that symbolized North Texas's unstoppable growth, McKinney's collapse is a harsh lesson. Rankings don't pay mortgages, and hype doesn't create sustainable markets. When the fundamentals crack, even the shiniest reputations can't stop the fall. Number 1. Round Rock. Round Rock was supposed to be the safe bet. Austin's model of suburban stability, the place where tech money landed softly, where families escaped city prices without sacrificing city access. Schools were excellent, infrastructure was modern, growth felt controlled, smart, sustainable. For years, Round Rock delivered exactly what it promised. But in 2025, the dream has evaporated. Home prices have fallen 11.1% year over year, the sharpest decline of any Texas suburb. Inventory has surged 70%, and homes now sit an average of 89 days before selling, compared to 56 days last year. That's not a slowdown, that's a freeze. Monthly housing costs have exploded from $1,900 in 2021 to approximately $30,500 in 2025. Property taxes have soared as Williamson County reassesses values upward, even while market prices collapse. Insurance premiums have doubled, sometimes tripled, and after back-to-back hailstorms and severe weather drove carriers to reprice risk aggressively across Central Texas. Add in rising HOA fees, and the math becomes impossible for middle-class buyers. Even well-paid tech professionals are feeling the strain. Many who move from California or Washington seeking affordable living are discovering that Round Rock's affordability advantage has completely vanished. The monthly cost burden now rivals the expensive metros they left behind. Except now there's no equity cushion, no job market depth, and no exit strategy that doesn't involve taking a loss. The market dynamics tell the story. 4.39 months of inventory signals a balanced to soft buyer's market, where sellers struggle to attract offers even after aggressive price cuts. Builders who once commanded premiums are now dangling incentives, rate buydowns, closing credits, appliance packages, just to move inventory. It's not working. Investors who poured money into Round Rock rentals during the boom are now confronting negative cash flow. Renters are leaving for cheaper suburbs or moving back to Austin apartments closer to work. Landlords are cutting rents just to keep units occupied, but vacancy rates keep climbing. Some are quietly walking away, letting properties slide into foreclosure rather than continue bleeding money. The emotional toll on homeowners is heavy. Families who bought at the peak in 2022 or 2023 are now underwater and owing more than their homes are worth. Selling means absorbing tens of thousands in losses. Staying means grinding through payments that consume half their income while watching property values sink further. There's no good choice, just hard trade-offs and mounting stress. Round Rock's collapse is particularly painful because it was supposed to be different. This wasn't a speculative bubble suburb built on cheap land and hype. It was established, planned, respectable. If Round Rock can fall this hard, no Texas suburb is truly safe. From Leander to Round Rock, the Texas housing miracle has cracked. Insurance premiums are crushing, property taxes keep climbing, and inventory is piling up faster than buyers can absorb. The suburbs that once promised affordability now deliver stress. If this helped, hit subscribe and drop a comment. Which suburb do you think collapses next?